Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to be designing this flyer in Photoshop together. So before we start, rolling the intro. Welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be designing that flyer that I showed you, right? It's for a party event, which is game team party event. So yeah, I'd like you to subscribe and also like you to share and like and turn on the notification icon so that when I drop a new video, you'll be the first person to get notified about it. So without much further ado, let's get to where we are here today. So now that you are in our Photoshop, we are going to open a new file. So once you open a new file, you're going to get this. So this is where we can set our dimension. All right, so we are going to be using 1080 pixels by 1350, which is the portrait size kind of flyer. All right, so just leave the other setting as they are. Then I'm going to hit create. So we are going to be having our new blank document like this. So this is where we are going to start cooking. So like I said, we'll be designing for a flyer for a game night. All right, so it's kind of like a flyer for a party, for a game night. So we are going to get started with setting up our background, right? So I'm going to get started with doing some elements that we're going to be using for our background. So I'm going to start with creating something that is related to like a chessboard, right? So that is what I want to do right now. So let me give this another color so that we'll be able to see it. Another color that is different from white. Yeah, okay, so this is good. So I'm just going to like duplicate these two couple times again, but before I do that, I'm going to scale it down like this. Then I'm just going to copy this one and place it here like this. So we have this. So I'm just going to make sure that we have something like a grid. So I'm going to duplicate this, put it here. Then for the next one, put it here. Then for the next one as well, which is black, I'm also going to put it here. So I'm going to be with you in the next 2 minutes. Alright, so I have our grid ready. You can see that it looks like a chessboard. So let's just convert everything into a smart object so that we can have it in a single layer like this. Alright, so I'm going to just scale it up a little bit like this, then scale it up a little bit like this as well. So I'm just going to hide this for a moment. Now I'm going to bring in another part of our background, which is the ring. All right, so I'm going to scale it up a little bit, then I'm just going to make sure that we select the background and get rid of it. All right, so I'm going to use the select subject from here. Then you're going to see what Photoshop is going to come up with as regards the selection. All right, so hopefully it's going to select a good selection for us. So I think this is good, but it has left out this part. All right, the ground. So we're just going to manually add it to our selection. I'm going to use quick selection to quickly do that. All right, okay, I think with that we should be good. Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to Ctrl J to duplicate it, to duplicate our selection. Then I'm going to get rid of the initial image. So now you can see that we have a very great selection. So I'm just going to convert this into a smart object, all right, because I don't want it to lose quality when I start scaling it up and down. All right, so I'm just going to bring this our chessboard. I'm going to bring it upward like this, then make sure I turn on the visibility. I'm just going to hold my control and bring it down like this so that it fits perfectly to the original background that we have. So I'm just going to try to, as much as possible, to line it up and make sure that we have something very, very close to our ground that we have on this picture. All right, so I'm just going to make sure that it fits like this. All right, so I think this is good. Then I'm just going to use my layer mask to to mask out the excess part. So you can see that that's not cut out that excess part that we had on it before. All right, so this is, let me show you without the layer mask, and this is without the layer mask. You can see the overflow, right? So this is with the layer mask. All right, so the next thing you have to do is just to add a little bit of shadow to this. So I'm just going to use our exposure, then I'm going to pump it up, down like this. Then I'm just going to clip it to make sure that it is clipped inside this our new grant that you have created. All right, so I'm just going to light it up a little bit, then I'm going to invert it. Then I'm going to use my brush just to so I'm going to change the shape of my brush to an oval shape like this, so that it's going to like even blend more. So I'm just going to use my brush, switch this, then I'm just going to use it to paint a little bit of shadow like this around the edges, right? Just to paint a little bit of shadow around the edges like this. All right, so just to give us something like that. Then I'm also going to reduce the opacity of the brush, then increase the size of the brush, and then I can now paint even more area like this. All right, so it looks kind of realistic. So I'm just going to leave out the middle like this to be bright, and yeah, I think we should just leave it like this for now. All right, might do some later touches on it, but let's just leave it like this for now. So I'm just going to group all of this together, and then I can rename it our ring. Okay, I'm just going to drag it down like this. All right, so now we can now bring in our next element. All right, so I'm going to bring this background, so I'm going to scale it up, then put it right behind our ring. Should be behind our ring like this. Okay, so I'm just going to drag it up a little bit, then I'm going to add a layer mask to it. Then I'm just going to change the size of this brush first. Then I'm going to erase some parts of this. So let me increase the opacity back to 100. So I'm just going to erase some part of this like this. Then we can now create our own background for it. So I want the background to be dark. All right, so I want the background to be dark like this. So but we are just going to be adding a little bit of red, because I think the color theme that we are using for this flyer should be red and black. So I'm just going to add a gradient to it, all right, which is black and kind of dark red, very dark red like this. Yeah, something like this. Okay, so this has to be like total black. Okay, so this is already on black, so I think something like this is perfect. All right, so now we have this. Okay, so now I can even reduce the brightness of this. I can make sure that we have it a little bit darker. So I'm going to use our curve adjustments layer to do that. I'm going to make sure I clip it inside this our background that we want it to affect. Then I'm going to reduce it so that it's a little bit darker, than how it was before. All right, so now we have this. Okay, so now let's try to bring in more of our assets. All right, so I'm going to bring in this one. So this is going to be where our main title is going to be. Hopefully it works. So let's get rid of the background first. Select subject, and let's see, Photoshop is going to select our subject for us. So it as it's selected now, Ctrl J to duplicate our selection, get rid of the initial image, then convert this into a smart object straight up. Then I'm going to flip this horizontally because we don't want our title to be facing this side. We want it to face the right hand side. So I'm going to flip it, transform, flip horizontally, then it's going to flip to the other side. So I think this looks way better than it facing the left hand side. So just going to put this here for now. All right, then we are going to start bringing in the rest of our assets. Okay, so I'm going to bring in this. So we are using this particular chess piece because of the title of this particular party. So it's going to make sense in a minute. All right, so let's just try to put this in place before we start doing some other things. All right, so I've just selected this. I'm going to Ctrl J to duplicate it, then I'm going to get rid of the initial image. Straight up, I'm going to turn this into a smart object because I'm going to scale it up and down like this so it doesn't lose quality. All right, so I'm just going to place this here like this, and it should also face the other side. So I'm going to flip it horizontally like this. All right, so now we have this. So I'm going to bring in I think our last asset. So it's going to be a cup, a red cup. So let's get rid of the background using the same method. Select subject. Then Photoshop is going to select our cup for us. Then Ctrl J to duplicate the selection, and going to get rid of the initial image. Then turn this straight up into a smart object. All right, so I'm just going to scale it up a little bit, then make sure that it is sitting on this our chairs board, all right, inside the ring. So we are going to be doing a lot of adjustments, but let's just try to set up the layout first. Right, so let's set up the layout first so that we will see what we are working with. All right, so because we are even yet to put in any text, and we have to also make sure that we have spaces around to put our text. All right, so that our design at the end of the day will not look all over the place. All right, so just trying to place things around, move things around. All right, so we might later change all of these things, but for now let's just leave it like this. I might even hide these two first, then we can try to start bringing in our text. All right, so the title for this party is game night. So I'm going to change that to white so you can see it very well. This is game night. All right, so let's pump up the font size so that I'll be able to see it very well. So game night like this. So I'm thinking maybe we should change the font type. Let me duplicate it and try out another font type. So I duplicated it because I don't want to lose this particular the name of this font, so that's why I duplicated it. So we are going to be exploring with the second one that I duplicated. All right, so I think we should be going with something that looks digital, and I think I have something like that. I think I have a typeface like that, digital, something like this. Okay, let's see which one works best. Okay, so now let's try this. So I think the idea behind this one is just making sure that it looks like a scoreboard. A scoreboard. So I think this could work. So let's use this. All right, so all we have to now just to distort this a little bit like this. Make sure that it is following the angle, the same angle of this our board that we have underneath it. Okay, so I'm just holding my control, then I'm just shifting it, all right, so that it fits and it aligns with the angle of this our board. All right, so that's just what I did there. So now I think this is okay. So we can even add a little bit of glow to it. So you can see that this our outline on this our board, it has red glow, right? So we can decide to add red glow to our own text as well, but let's just leave it for now. We might actually do that later. So I'm going to group these two together, right? Ctrl G to group them. So let's name it title box. So I like to group my layer so that I stay organized, because I don't want to start looking for anything up and down. So okay, so now let's try to do something else. So we are going to be adding our other text. So I think that's all the text that we have. So now we can start placing everything in place. Okay. All right. So I think there should also be the logo. There should also be a logo at the top, right? There should be a logo at the top. So I wasn't given any logo. So let's just try to use something for the logo, all right? So let's agree this is the logo. So I'm just going to group these two together and name it logo. Okay, so let's make sure that that is at the middle of our canvas like that. Okay, then we are also going to add present because they are the one hosting. So let's make sure this is on light, and then we can increase the spacing between the characters. All right, so let's make sure it's at the middle, then bring it up a little bit like this. Okay, so let's reduce the font size. I think it's too much. Okay, so okay, I think this is good. I think this size is good. All right, so now let's move on with our other arrangement. So first of all, we are going to be, let me hide all of this. Okay, so now we are going to be adding like a kind of what do you call it, vignette to this design. All right, so that we have darker parts around the edges. Okay, so we can use our solid color to do that. Make sure the whole thing is black. Okay, then you can invert the whole selection. Okay, so you're going to grab your brush and you're just going to paint all this dark area around it. All right, so we just want to make sure that the text that we're putting down here, they are visible. Okay, so that is why we are doing that. Then we can even use like a divider just to divide it right at the middle like this, just to it's probably for aesthetics. I don't think it's okay. Let's see how it looks. Okay, I think that looks good. Okay, so you're just going to group all of them together like this, so we can name it footer. So we can also just make sure that it's at the center of our canvas. All right, so that's that. So now for our ring, let's bring it up a little bit. Okay, let's bring it up a little bit. Okay, I think that's just good. So for our logo too, let's try to bring it down a little bit so that it's not too close to our the edge of our canvas. All right, so this present as well, let's bring it down a little bit. Then with our box, our title box, so let's bring it down a little bit as well. Let's bring it down a little bit as well. So now we have this. All right, so I'm just going to reveal all of this, our text again. So these two, they are together like this. So let's try to do something. So put it inside a rectangle like that, bring it behind it. Then let's use gradient. Let's see. So we're going to use our same black and white gradient, but we are going to reduce the opacity. So before that, let's try to remove all the fill that we have on this, so that it's kind of transparent a little bit. All right, so we're going to go back to our gradient overlay, and then we are going to like pump it up a little bit and make sure it's a little bit see-through, right, just to give that gaming effect. So we are also going to add stroke to it, and we can use gradient, and then we can change the colors from and make sure it's something red and little bit game like it gets. So we can change this from linear to reflected, Let's reverse it. Let's see how it looks. Okay, this looks better. All right, so I'm just going to put this down a little bit, drag this down a little bit. Then what else? Let's make sure that this rectangle is the perfect size. So I'm going to group these two texts together, but before I do that, let's make sure that this price, it's a different color entirely. Okay, can we do, should we do yellow, or we should go gamey fully, something like this, lime or green or neon. Looks gamey. All right, so because of the amount, it's very, very important, so that is why we are making it a different color entirely. Right, let's do this kind of green. Let's go with this kind of green. Okay, so I'm just going to group these two texts together, then I'm going to align it inside our box very, very well. Okay, so I'm going to group them together and then name it price. So we have that. Okay, we have this. So let's just put it here. I don't know the final position that is going to be, but let's just put it there let's put it there for now. Okay, so for this as well, let's see if we can replicate or even duplicate. You don't have to replicate, let's just duplicate it, and then all you have to do is just to bring it to this side. So I'm just going to hide the two for now. Then I'm going to this one, come as your favorite character, blah 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 blah. So I'm guessing this one should, or this one can go. It can go. Let's make sure it's center alignment. I'm guessing this one can be right here. Make it small a little bit like this. Footer, let's put it inside our folder. Then this our RSVP, we can shift it up a little bit like this. Then our come as your favorite gig character, we can put it right underneath it like that. Then you can just change the color to that same green, so that it's going to be like visible as well. Just to call it a little bit of attention to it like that. So all right, that is settled. So now let me hide it, and let's try to work with this our two. Okay, let me hide this footer in general so that we'll be able to work with our. So the idea of adding this cup, I think, is pretty obvious, because there's going to be drinks. All right, there's going to be drinks, just light light drinks. Okay, so first of all, we're going to be darkening this cup a little bit. All right, so we're going to be using our curves to do that. Make sure you clip it to the cup, then you can darken it a little bit like this. All right, so let's just leave it like this for now. Then we're also going to be creating like a contact shadow for it, All right, so I'm just going to be using a new solid color, which is total black for it, because obviously shadows are black. Okay, so I'm going to invert it. I wanted to invert that. Invert. Okay, so now I'm going to select our brush, then change the shape of the brush to something that is oval in shape like this. Let's zoom in so you can see what you are working with. So I'm just going to like create, so contact shadow are where the objects are touching the ground, so that's going to be like the darkest part of the shadow, where the object is touching the ground. Okay, so there's also going to be some shadow, a little bit of shadow around this side, because it's going to be like softer than the one that we have here, because it is more exposed to more light. Right, so you're also going to be having something like this. Then if the light is coming from, if you look at this this cup now, right, the light is actually hitting it from both sides, from the left hand side and from the right hand side. So we are just only going to be adding this shadow. Probably you can add a little bit of body shadow to this side, right? So let's see if we can actually do that. So I'm going to duplicate this, then I'm going to turn it into a total dark color with our color value color black. All right, so total black. So I'm going to bring it below our cup, then I'm going to use kind of distortion to just distort the cup like this. Okay, so at the end of the day we are still going to be having the shape of our cup, but just distorted. It's just distorted. Okay, so something like this. Then I'm going to reduce the opacity so that we only have something that is very, very soft. All right, so I'm going to turn it into smart object. Then I'm going to add a little bit of Gaussian blur to it. Okay, so that's very soft on the ground. Something like this is actually okay. Then I'm also going to add a layer mask to it so that I'll be able to erase some parts that we actually don't need. Okay, so I think this is good. This looks good. All right, so let me actually save it. Let's do game night, save. Okay, so now we also need to add a little bit of shadow and highlight to our cup. So let's work with that. So I'm going to be using exposure to add shade to our cup. So let's deal with the shade first. So we are going to make sure it's a little bit dark like this, right? And then we can use our control high to invert the selection. Then we can go back to our brush, change the shape back to a normal circle. Then we can use it to paint where we feel there's going to be a dark on the part of the cup. So I think this part is going to be dark. So because I think there will be light coming from behind. So we're going to be adding light coming from behind. So this place, all of this place should be a dark, kind of dark. All right, so if it's too much, I'll just switch it and paint in the light area like this. So I don't think we have to add highlights to this because we already have highlights on the cup initially. All right, so that is good. Then let me reveal this our chest piece. I'm thinking this chest piece should be, I think it should be behind the cup. I think it should be behind the cup. I think it should be behind the cup. Or instead of, maybe it can even stay upright like this. Can it? I think it can. I think it can. So it can be here. All right, so you just be touching this our board a little bit. All right, so now that means that we have to move our cup. Also have to make sure that we are moving it with all of the shadows that we created for it. All right, so can move it all at once and just make sure that it is placed right here. Okay, so let's group our cup. Let's group it. Then let's name it cup. Then let's duplicate it, and for the sake of balance, I'm just going to add on that one right here. Well, I'm guessing this one should be behind. Okay, this one should be behind the chest piece. Okay, I think this is actually looking better. I think it's looking better like this. Okay, so we can even decide to reduce the size of the cup if we want, so that doesn't take so much space, because the knight is actually the subject of the main flyer. All right, so maybe we can even try to reduce this one to a little bit like that. Okay, then we have to work on this our chest piece as well, so we have to create a contact shadow for it. So I think that is fine. So let's try to bring back our footer, and let's see if it doesn't disturb it that much. Okay, so I think we are still on the right path. That's still on the right path. So this present, I think it should also have the same color. Okay, should also have that same color. Then this background, I'm actually not sure about it. Let's get rid of it first. Probably that we can just try to bring it back, right? Then for this one too, let's try to reduce the vignette that we added earlier. Okay. Then for the ring, let's add a little bit of exposure to the ring, so it's kind of brighter. Okay, so make sure you clip it. Okay, like this. You can see that it is looking better now. All right. Okay, so now the next thing for us to do is to make sure that this our title is also glowing. So where is it? Title box. Okay, so we're just going to be adding a little bit of outer glow to it, and I want to make sure that it is red. Outer glow. Okay, then make sure that it is red, so you can see it now. It's just a little bit, doesn't have to be crazy like that. Okay, so this before, this after, you can see that it's kind of make it pop. All right, so now I think we should be able to add a little bit of background to it, right? So I'm just going to work on it, and I'll be back with you in a minute. All right, so you can see that I've moved some of these things around a little bit. All right, so the highlight has actually come down here, and the price has gone up here. Okay, so like I said, just how the other elements are going to be, and that's going to determine where all of these things are going to end up on. So I think this is actually good now, so we just need to add some other few touches to it, and we will be done with our design. So for the logo, I think we can shift it up a little bit, and for the presents as well, I can even go up a little bit. Then this bouquet light that I added, I think I should reduce the opacity a little bit so that we'll be able to see what we have around here very well. I think we should also add a little bit, so we don't need this background anymore. Let's get rid of it. We can also add this speaker, I guess. So just try to show up a little bit in the background. This is done now. Maybe we can add a little bit of sparkles like this, just to spice it up a little bit, right? So we're going to change that to screen. All right, then let's see if we can bring it on top. Let's see how it's going to look if we bring it on top like this. Just have this kind of extra layer of this. All right, so I'm just going to add a layer mask, and I'm going to just erase all of these parts that might get in our way of seeing what is important. All right, so I'm just going to add a little bit of motion blur to it, because they are moving lights, so they should be in motion. All right, so let's try to add a little bit of motion to it, sideways or downwards. Let's do downwards. Probably they are rising up or they are dropping, so let's use this kind of motion. All right, then what else? All right, so let's try to bring back. Yeah, yeah. So okay, I think we are done with this. I think we are done with this. Yeah, I think we are done with this. We're done with this. So probably just add a little bit of lens flare to where it's important. So let's so I'm just going to group every of our layers together, Ctrl G. Then I'm going to use Alt Ctrl Shift E to turn every of our layers into a single rasterized layer. Then I'm going to convert this one into smart object. This is the one that I'm going to use our camera raw filter on. Right. So once I go to camera raw filter, I'm going to get this. So now I can just do a little bit of after, they call it after something after some, I've forgotten. All right, so I just try to increase the vibrance a little bit, then the clarity and also the texture, maybe the grain as well a little bit. Then for the sharpening, just going to pump it up a little bit like this. All right, so if you want to see the before and the after, you can just click here, right? Or you can just put them side by side like this. So this is the before and this is the after. You can see that this looks a little bit more sharper than what we have before, right? So I'm just going to click on OK. Then you'll be able to see that our design is now and finally done. So I'm going to rename this our artboard to Game Nights.
Thank you for sticking to the end of this video. Make sure that you check the links in the description. There are a lot of goodies that are going to help you as a designer. Alright, make sure you check it out, and make sure you don't forget to subscribe. Also like and share with your friends, your enemies, and everybody I think can get one or two from this video. Alright, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Keep creating.